Welcome back to Heal My Cosmos. I'm Jenny Lee, your host, and today we're talking about the Aquarius full moon and the very potent healing opportunities that it is providing for us. So, the Aquarius full moon occurs on July 29th, 2026 at 8:36 a.m. Mountain Time, and it's occurring at 6 degrees of Aquarius. So the sun is the ruler of Leo and can be expressed through the ego or the heart. This particular sun in Leo is at the same degree of Leo as Jupiter. Jupiter will make that ego or that heart expression bigger and exaggerate and protect whatever is being focused on. Leo is a fixed sign, so whatever is being focused on has a tight grip around it. The moon is the emotional record keeper of the past, and when it comes to its fullness, those emotions need to be expressed. This full moon is in the fixed air sign of Aquarius. It is conjunct the full moon is in the fixed air sign of Aquarius, so the emotions are being experienced through the higher mind. The past is being compared to the future, and there are big feelings about the gap that needs to be filled in order for the entire collective to experience equality and harmony. The full moon in Aquarius is conjunct the transformational planet of Pluto. The feelings and big ideas about the contrasting past and future are extreme and intense. The sun and the moon in an opposition creates the full moon, and as if it weren't intense enough, both of them are conjunct and being infused with high intensity outer planets, all opposing each other in fixed signs that have no interest in compromising and have their eye on what needs to be achieved. The Leo Aquarius polarity axis offers us a unique soul growth opportunity, which is to surrender to our own ego death as a means of accessing a more expansive heart chakra that allows us to see through the eye of the heart what way we are meant to contribute to the collective, which requires us to get off of our high horse and walk our horse into the massive circle of other horses to see how our horse can best serve here. This is a highly combustible full moon. Nobody wants to surrender to an ego death, but something's got to give. And since the ruler of the full moon is Uranus, we can't even begin to predict what will occur and the specifics of the shock that will be had with Pluto involved. Forever changing the future trajectory is always what Pluto's doing. Jupiter was at an exact opposition with Pluto between July 19th and the 21st, and even though there is 2 degrees between their opposition, even though there's 2 degrees between the opposition, it doesn't change the intensity with the sun and the moon involved. It becomes very personal. The sun coming through the exact degree that Jupiter already opposed Pluto at is activating and translating the meaning of the opposition into real time and into the now. This is a full moon to avoid any power struggles at all costs and be conscious about your word choices. You will notice power struggles around you as well as in the media, through stories in the news and on social media, And it's important we don't get taken over by any of the chaos we see on the world stage right now. Knowing who your people are and leaning into processing any shock or big feelings, thoughts, or opinions that arise is recommended instead of using your energy to engage in any power struggles. Speaking of words, Uranus in Gemini, who is bringing words down from a higher plane for us to borrow to make our social lives better right now, is both trining that Pluto and Moon in Aquarius and forming a sextile or opportunity to Jupiter and the Sun in Leo. There is support through taking a moment to form sentences after taking many deep breaths. Speaking of deep breaths, Neptune in Aries, who is helping us bring the adrenaline level down and cooling the blood that wants to boil during this full moon, if we invite it in. Neptune in Aries is forming a supportive trine with that Jupiter and Sun in Leo, and an opportunity sextile with Pluto and the Moon in Aquarius. We have access to a meditative state if we choose to invite our bodies to ground enough to become aware of our breath and the power it has to calm the mind and the body into a chill state. Mars in Gemini is working with asteroid goddess Ceres during the full moon. There is the voice of a nurturing mother with us as we move about the intensity of the full moon. The wise Gemini Mars tends to her nervous system, and we must take notes if we want to come out of this full moon not completely depleted, especially because Mars in Gemini also forms an exact square or point of tension with Venus in Virgo at 21 degrees. Both signs ruled by Mercury, this means tension between wanting simplicity but somehow overexerting both the mind and the body if we aren't careful. With all of the heavy air and fire energy leaning into the simplicity that Venus in Virgo is calling our attention to and giving it to ourselves first before serving another will be very beneficial. Taurus, another earth sign, rules our ability to stabilize ourselves, and since Chiron entered Taurus this month, we have questioned what actually stabilizes us at this point. Chiron in Taurus at 0 degrees does form a wide orb square between the Sun, Jupiter, and Leo, as well as the Moon and Pluto in Aquarius, all fixed signs. This just adds to the extreme tension of the full moon, inviting us to question the deeper meaning of the intensity coming up instead of pretending it's not real. On July 26th, the nodes of fate changed signs from Pisces and Virgo to Aquarius and Leo for another 18-month cycle. The South Node in Leo is helping us let go of any false identities, removing masks that are hiding who we really are, and facilitating the death of the ego in whatever ways necessary. The North Node in Aquarius is providing a compass for the future timeline of the collective and reminding each of us what our unique path in achieving collective destiny is. These nodes have just entered the signs that the full moon is in, definitely adds to the intensity of the opposition between these fixed signs. Mercury in Cancer, now direct since July 23rd, is forming a square with Saturn in Aries, inviting tension into our inner worlds. Saturn just went retrograde on July 26th, so there is a review process underway in terms of our self-discipline. A review process that Mercury in Cancer just went through since it was retrograde. Both Cancer and Aries are personal signs, and with Mercury in Cancer having gone through such an in-depth review process, being retrograde for that full month all the way up till July 23rd, we feel kicked while we're down. when Saturn in Aries brushes our feelings under the rug and says to toughen up. Mercury in Cancer is the only water sign in the full moon chart, and so we may experience this as feeling overly sensitive when everyone else seems to have tough skin. The support for Mercury in Cancer is provided by Venus in Virgo, forming a sextile or opportunity and coming in clutch just when Mercury in Cancer wants to crawl under the covers and tune everyone out. Venus in Virgo comes in to simplify what Mercury in Cancer is spinning in. Venus in Virgo brings in an invitation to do something with the emotional energy that has Mercury spinning. Finding a productive channel for the emotional energy to go into is what we must do during this full moon. Throw yourself into a project or a task that is in some way helpful and invites a cathartic experience for you as well. This is a highly combustible full moon, and our power is in our consciousness and our intention to work with the higher forms of these energies. And if we allow ourselves to get lost in what we see around us, what we see on social media, what we see in the news, what we see in our communities, we have more of a chance of getting lost in the lower expressions, the combustible energy that is the Aquarius full moon, this particular one. So I invite you to slow down, take deep breaths, get conscious about what is actually helpful right now. Because most likely it's not expressing strong opinions with anyone you know is not going to be able to hear you. So many deep breaths, wishing you so many moments of pause and awareness and conscious intention. I love you all, and I know you can come out of this feeling stronger. I'll see you next time.